PW5 sought to ask the justices a question. When given the opportunity, Tata asked the justices whether the question thrown at him by the APC lawyer about the identity of the polling officials who conducted the election in his unit was anywhere found in his deposition, to which the presiding justice responded that his witness deposition will be given adequate attention. After the sixth petitioner's witness completed adopting his sworn statement and cross-examination by the respondent, the court adjourned trial till Tuesday, following an oral application by the lead counsel for the petitioner, Levi Uzogu. Well, on Tuesday, 9th of July, 13 more witnesses were presented by the People's Democratic Party and Atiku Abubakar, with one of them telling the court that the opposition PDP won the presidential election in President Buhari's home state, Katsina. It was another grueling day of trial as more witnesses were put forward by the petitioners, some of them party agents, others election officials who, like the ones prior to them, testified how election results were transmitted in the February 23 presidential election. Taking the witness stand was one of the key witnesses for the petitioners, the PDP state chairman in Katsina State, Salisu Yusuf. Adopting his witness statement, Yusuf told the court the results collated by his party's agent did not tally with that announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. According to him, agents were deployed to about 4,902 polling units, and their collated results indicate that the PDP scored 905,000 votes to APC's 872,000. Questioned further under cross-examination, the witness clarified that the collated result in question did not emanate from a server, but manual collation sent in by his party agents across the state. Another allegation made in the petition of the PDP is that there was widespread voting without accreditation in some places. The witness for the petitioners under cross-examination stated that he even voted without going through accreditation but was simply given a ballot paper. Questioned further on the contents of his witness statement, he told the courts that he relied on reports from polling agents across the state. Another witness, Salisu Funtua, who identified himself as a collation officer for his local government, testified that there were electoral malpractices and irregularities, especially over voting, which he witnessed personally. Some of the witnesses in their testimony, however, admitted that there was accreditation in some places, though it was partially done. On the server controversy and transmission of results, two more witnesses, Ogunsoya Abiola and Peter Ume, told the court that they worked as assistant polling officer one during the presidential election.
The proceedings today, as well as yesterday, are basically witnesses testifying on behalf of the petitioners that there indeed existed and still exists a central server owned by INEC, the first respondent, into which all polling results during the presidential and National Assembly elections that took place on the 23rd of February this year were transmitted electronically. That is very important, electronically. And witness after witness has maintained that fact that they were trained by INEC officials to use the electronic device of transmitting records and polling results. And that INEC did in fact tell them that anywhere the card reader failed, they should not do manual accreditation. That means polling should not take place in that unit. They've maintained that position, they've been consistent, they've never deviated, even under the fire of cross-examination. Witness after witness has said whether those things were written in the manual or not. INEC did, in fact, train them. Some of them between 5 and 6 a.m. on the day of the election. Some others a day before the election, as to how to use the device, how they were given a secret code with which they would transmit this result electronically, and that this code belonged to INEC and was to be made secret and confidential and must never be disclosed to any person.
After about 6 hours of hearing, the tribunal adjourned till Thursday for continuation. The tribunal will, however, on Wednesday resume proceedings on the petition of the Help Democratic Party, HDP. Well, Thursday's proceedings was perhaps the most dramatic as the Court of Appeal admitted in evidence a secret INEC document confirming the deployment of electronic transmission of results for the 2019 presidential elections. A document which AIT has been able to access provides exclusive details on the technology support provided for the election. On that same day, 9 more witnesses were presented before the court. Here is a report on last Thursday's proceedings. The petitioners continued the presentation of their case on Thursday with witnesses from Kaduna, Borno and Bauchi State. Bukar Pedro identified himself as a local government collation agent for Damboa in Borno State and testified that the election was heavily manipulated in favor of the APC candidate Muhammadu Buhari. According to him, there was a bomb explosion on election day due to terrorist activities in his local government, forcing the shift in election venue to the local government headquarters. However, according to him, agents of the second and third respondents, that is President Buhari and the APC, took advantage of the chaotic situation to create crisis, leading to disenfranchisement of several voters and the award of figures in favor of the APC. Questioned under cross-examination whether there were no party agents from the other political parties, Bukar said they were all present when polling commenced at the local government headquarters, but had to flee for their lives due to the tense security situation. He told the court that some members of the Civilian Joint Task Force worked with the APC agents to concoct results which INEC announced. Another party agent from Kaduna State, John Makama, who identified himself as a PDP collation agent for Sanga local government of the state, testified how the strongholds of his party were decimated and results cancelled by INEC unlawfully. Another witness from Das local government of Bauchi State, Yao Yusuf, told the court that he was a collation agent for the PDP in his local government and that original results were torn. Asked whether he reported the incident, and he answered in the affirmative, adding that the police received the torn results as evidence, promising that they will investigate and prosecute the perpetrators. Under cross-examination, Yusuf told the court that those who perpetrated the act are parties to the case, and they were acting on behalf of the APC, who are respondents to the petition. On whether anyone has been convicted, Yusuf said they are still walking about freely, and that it is not his job to convict them. Apart from the presentation of witnesses, the petitioner presented what is perhaps one of the most compelling pieces of evidence in the course of this trial. The petitioners on Thursday provided documentary evidence which sets out the processes for the transmission of results in the presidential election 2019. The certified true copy of the document titled Manual for Election Technologies Use, Troubleshooting and Maintenance 2019 provides a detailed explanation on how results were to be transmitted electronically. The document speaks to the testimonies submitted by the various witnesses since last Thursday, to the effect that they were trained as registration area technicians on how to transmit results electronically. AIT obtained a copy of the document, the Manual on Election Technologies. This is said to be an internal document used by INEC to prepare its officials for election. Paragraph 1.2 states that, quote, the election support technology is primarily set out to provide direct technical support to users of all elections technology for the 2019 elections at all levels of deployment and usage, end quote. These include technical support on the use of smart card readers, technical support on the result transmission system at polling units, among others. Paragraph 1.42 provides more clarity. It states, quote, RATEX, that registration area technicians are to work closely with the collation officers at their RAs. This will assist in harmonizing the results, manual and e-collation. To specify the importance, the indented part of the directive states, quote,
all cases of discrepancies between the e-collation and manual results must be totally sorted out and eliminated." End quote. The procedure is clearly illustrated in the diagram on page 8 of the document. The first point showing PU result entered on an e-collation app on the smart card reader. The second point clearly specifies results transmitted to a central server. Point 3 is auto-collation and viewing at the RAs, while point 4 specifies result audit and confirmation. The manual on elections technology further breaks down that e-transmission of results is, quote, the electronic movement of election results from the polling unit using the smart card reader to a centralized database system where the collation of results is done. Section 5 of the manual explains how to log into the e-collation software and how to transmit results. It also provides the URL code to log in. This comprehensive manual is said to have been put in operation during the presidential elections, an allegation which the petitioner's witnesses have attested to. At the point of tendering the manual, INEC and the other respondents objected to its admissibility. The petitioners hope to rely on it to prove that the resource server, which they claim shows that the PDP candidate won the highest number of valid votes based on the e-collated and e-transmitted result.
Well, last week's proceedings ended in some kind of anticlimax on Friday, following a report that witnesses scheduled to testify for the petitioners were attacked on their way to Abuja. Here's a report.
Friday's hearing began at about 9 a.m. with the petitioners calling its first witness of the day, Zachary Ibrahim from Bauchi State. He identified himself as a party collation agent for Zaki local government, explaining that there was widespread illegal thumbprinting of ballot papers during the election. He also told the court that no one has been convicted for the alleged infractions. The second witness of the day adopted his sworn statement, wherein he identified himself as the party agent in his local government in Gombe State. He stated that there were serious discrepancies in the results announced by INEC, his polling unit, and his word. The witness, however, could not state the actual results that were collated and the scores in his polling unit when asked during cross-examination. He was questioned why he signed the results sheet, even with the apparent discrepancies, and he said because he needed to have a copy of the result. Another witness for the petitioner from Yobe State, Hassan Masatu, mentioned a certain Ado Hamza, whom he alleged was an APC agent coordinating the harassment and intimidation of voters. When the respondent's counsel during cross-examination asked for proof of his allegation, the witness said he did not know that such would be required of him during his testimony. Also testifying for the petitioner, Peter Sabo, who identified himself as a local government agent from Askira Oba local government, said that no election took place in 4 wards of his local government and that agents of the APC was simply given ballot papers by INEC to vote.
7 witnesses were presented by the petitioners during the morning session of trial. But that turned out to be the end of the day's proceedings, as the lead counsel for the petitioner informed the court that he had just received reports that the witnesses scheduled to be presented during the afternoon session of trial had just been attacked on their way to Abuja.
The development forced the tribunal chairman, Justice Muhammad Garuba, to abruptly adjourn the trial till Monday.
Well, the PDP and Atiku Abubakar have 4 more days to present their case, and all things being equal, that should be completed this week. Meanwhile, during the week, the People's Democratic Movement, PDM, one of the parties challenging the election of President Muhammadu Buhari, applied to withdraw its petition. The national chairman of that party, Frank Igwebulike, brought a motion to that effect at the pre-hearing of the petition by the PDM last Wednesday. He claimed that the party did not endorse a legal challenge of the presidential election. But in a counter affidavit, the national secretary of the party, Abubakar Gwada, said the national chairman of the party acted alone, as neither the National Working Committee or the National Executive Committee of the party met to take any decision on the matter since the filing of the petition. The PDM's petition is unique in the sense that the party is alleging unlawful exclusion at the polls. But just like the petition of the Hope Democratic Party, the PDM will have to resolve its internal issues, with unconfirmed reports suggesting there may be some kind of reaching out by the APC to some members of the PDM and the Hope Democratic Party to scuttle the progress of their petition. July 18 is the adjourned date for the PDM case, while the PDP petition resumes on Monday. Well, that's it on our weekly review of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Join us again next week. I am Utaba Umaran. Democracy Today continues.